In the heart of the old village of Clawstep, nestled within an expansive forest known as the Whispering Pines, stood a forsaken mansion that had long become the root of local legends. The mansion, draped in ivy and concealed in shadows, was more than just wood and stone. It was a keeper of stories, a sentinel of secrets. Few dared to tread its grounds, for to do so was to tiptoe amid whispers of the past. They say a shadow dwells there, a remnant of the first lady of the house the villagers would murmur, their voices trembling more from inherited dread than genuine belief. Yet, as the sun cast its final rays across the canopy each evening, even the bravest men averted their eyes from its silhouette against the dusk, a specter of bygone days. One such evening, when the forest seemed to inhale the encroaching darkness, a young woman named Eliza found herself drawn to the mansion. Her grandmother had often spun tales about the mysterious shadow, tales that were more cautionary yarns than truths. But curiosity burned within Eliza, igniting in an insatiable desire to unravel the reality masked by myth. Eliza ventured into the Whispering Pines, guided by nothing but the chilling rustle of leaves that echoed her every step. Her heart pounded like a drum in the quiet night, and the path before her seemed both infinite and closing in on her. As she drew closer, the mansion seemed to watch her with eyes of darkened windows. The air grew heavy, pressing against her as if testing her resolve. Within the mansion's hallowed halls, a timeless silence reigned. Dust motes floated in the air like curdled memories, and the musty scent of forgotten history seeped into Eliza's senses. Her flashlight trembled in her grip, the beam of light dancing nervously across faded wallpaper and cobweb-clad chandeliers. She caught sight of an old mirror, its surface rippled with age, as though it strained under the burden of time. Then, just as her courage nearly faltered, she saw the shadow. It slithered across the walls like ink spilled on a blank page, shape-shifting in a mesmerizing dance. Eliza's breath caught in her throat, her heart thumping wildly as the shadow paused, its form almost sentient. She realized it wasn't something that light could dispel, no, this was a piece of the darkness itself. "Who comes to seek the truth?" a voice asked, soft yet firm, echoing in the emptiness. A voice that neither belonged to the world of the living nor the dead. It took every ounce of bravery within Eliza to answer. "I am Eliza," she whispered, her voice barely more than the breeze that swept through the rotting wood. "I wish to learn your story." The shadow swirled, the air around it shifting as though the house itself exhaled a weary sigh. "Then listen," it murmured, and the room dimmed further as if in anticipation. Long years ago, the mansion had borne witness to the joyous life and eventual despair of its first inhabitants. Lady Eleanor, an ethereal beauty of wit and grace, had found her home among those very walls. Her laughter had once filled the corridors, a welcome antidote to the silence. But darkness, as it so often does, seized happiness with ruthless hands. A cruel winter had swept through, bringing with it a tragedy that stole Eleanor's laughter forevermore. Consumed by grief, Eleanor roamed her home as a phantom of her former self. Her despair painted itself across the walls, etching sorrow deep within the heart of the mansion. And it was said, on a moonless night burdened by her sorrow, she relinquished her soul to the very shadows she feared. The house mourned for her loss, holding tight to the only part of her that was left, the shadow. I linger, trapped between worlds, the shadow continued, curling gently like smoke reaching for the sky. In the darkness my soul finds solace, awaiting the one who might release me. Eliza, her heart aching with understanding, realized what she must do. She had heard of rituals whispered in fear, methods obscured by time, that could release spirits imprisoned by their own despair. Her grandmother's stories were not all mere fiction, it seemed. Gathering her courage, she spoke the words she barely believed she knew, a plea for release woven between breaths. The air around her thickened, the shadows deepening until they converged upon Eleanor's spectral form, drawing her silently into a tendril of light that pierced the gloom. For an ephemeral moment, Eliza saw Eleanor's face, soft and serene, freed from the chains of sorrow. A soft whisper of thanks hung in the air as the light faded, leaving only a peace that resonated through the ruins. Eliza stepped into the night, leaving the mansion behind. The whispering pines sang their ancient melodies, carrying a new tale, a tale of freedom and the courage to confront darkness. Clawstep Village never knew of the quiet liberation that had taken place, but the mansion stood lighter, a weight lifted from its warped frame as if it too finally exhaled. And from that night forth, the shadow among the pines was no longer feared. It was a memory, a whisper of a story untold, held safely in the heart of the brave young woman who dared to listen.
Are you ready to unlock a secret that can change your life forever? A secret that opens doors to new opportunities, helps you make new friends, and gives you the confidence to shine anywhere in the world. Imagine this: what if you could talk in English so smoothly, so beautifully, that people stop and listen every time you speak? Sounds like magic, doesn't it? But what if I told you it's not magic, it's something you can do, starting right now? Are you curious? Excited? Then stay with me, because this journey is going to be unforgettable. Now, take a moment and think, why is it important to talk in English? Why does everyone say it's the key to success? Here's why: English isn't just a language, it's a bridge. A bridge that connects you to the world. Whether you dream of studying abroad, landing your dream job, traveling the world, or simply watching your favorite movies without subtitles, English makes all of that possible. And today, I'm not just going to tell you how to learn, I'm going to take you on a path that will make learning feel easy, natural, and yes, even fun. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt nervous when speaking in English? Maybe you wanted to say something but stopped because you were afraid of making mistakes. Or perhaps you've stayed silent, wishing you could join the conversation but felt like the words were stuck somewhere. Let me tell you something very important. Mistakes are not your enemy. They are your teachers. Every single mistake you make is a step forward. Isn't that beautiful? But how do you start? How do you go from being scared to speaking with confidence? The first step is simple yet powerful. Listen. Listen to English every day. It could be your favorite songs, movies, podcasts, or even YouTube videos like this one. When you listen, you're not just hearing words, you're learning how those words flow together, how emotions are expressed, and how confidence sounds. It's like music at first. You might not understand every word, but soon you start feeling the rhythm. And here's a little secret. Don't try to be perfect. Nobody speaks perfectly, not even native speakers. The goal is to be understood. So, if you know a few words, use them. Don't wait until you learn everything to start speaking. Imagine a baby learning to talk. They start with simple words like mama or dada. Do they wait until they know all the words? No. They try, they laugh, they stumble, and then they learn. You can do the same. Now, let's talk about practice. Talking in English is like exercising a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. But how do you practice if you don't have anyone to talk to? Here's an idea. Talk to yourself. Yes, you heard me right. When you're alone, describe what you see, what you feel, or what you're thinking in English. Stand in front of a mirror and have a conversation. It might feel silly at first, but trust me, it works wonders. And don't forget about reading. Pick something you love, a story, a blog, or even the subtitles of your favorite movie. When you read, your brain collects new words and ideas like a treasure chest. And whenever you learn a new word, say it out loud. Feel its texture, its sound. Words are like tiny keys unlocking big ideas. Now, let's address one of the biggest fears. What if people laugh at my English? Here's the truth. Most people won't laugh. They'll admire your effort. And even if someone does laugh, remember, it says more about them than it does about you. You are brave for trying. Keep reminding yourself of that. Learning to talk in English is not a race, it's a journey. A beautiful journey where every word you learn, every sentence you say, brings you closer to your dream. And let me tell you something, you don't have to walk this journey alone. There are millions of people learning English just like you. You are part of a big, amazing family. Before I end this part, let me leave you with a thought. Imagine yourself a year from now. Picture yourself speaking English with confidence, sharing your ideas and expressing your feelings. Can you see it? That future version of you is waiting. And every small step you take today brings you closer to that dream. Let's keep going, because the magic is just beginning. Now, close your eyes for a moment and imagine you are in a room full of people. Maybe it's a meeting at work, maybe it's a party, or maybe you're traveling in a new country. Everyone is speaking English. You feel a little nervous, your heart is beating fast, and you wonder, what should I say? Will they understand me? And then you remember something important. You can do this. Talking in English is not about knowing all the words or speaking like someone else. It's about using what you already know and growing step by step. Let me share a simple and beautiful truth with you. Communication is not about perfection. It's about connection. People don't care if you use fancy words or perfect grammar. They care about your message, your smile, your confidence. And confidence doesn't come from being perfect, it comes from being brave. Now let me tell you a little story. Once, there was a young boy who didn't know how to speak English at all. Every time he tried, he felt shy and scared. But one day, he decided to do something small but powerful. He started learning just one new word every day. Just one. He would write it down, say it out loud, and use it in a sentence. At first, it felt slow, but guess what happened? In a month, he knew 30 words. In a year, he knew over 300 words. And with those words, he started having conversations, making friends, and growing his confidence. You see, big changes don't happen overnight. They happen with small, consistent steps. So here's your next step. Start small. Learn one new word every day. Write it on a sticky note. Keep it in your pocket, or set it as your phone wallpaper. But don't just learn it, use it. And speaking of using it, here's another trick. Ask questions. When you're in a conversation and don't know what to say, asking questions is your secret weapon. Questions like, what do you think about this? Or can you tell me more about that? Are simple, but they show you're interested. And guess what? When you ask questions, you don't have to talk as much, but you still connect with people. Do you know what makes English more exciting? Stories. Everyone loves stories, and sharing them can help you talk better. Start by telling small stories about your day, like what happened at work or something funny you saw. Stories don't need to be long or complicated, they just need to be yours. And when you tell a story, don't worry about the words you don't know. Focus on the words you do know. If you can't say something in English, explain it in another way. For example, if you don't know the word raincoat, you can say, "The jacket you wear when it rains." This is called paraphrasing, and it's a skill even native speakers use all the time. Isn't that amazing? You don't need to know every word to share your thoughts. Another powerful tool is body language. Did you know that more than half of communication isn't even about words? It's about how you smile, how you move your hands, how you look at someone when you talk. A kind smile, a small laugh, or even a simple nod can make your English feel warmer and more engaging. And here's something exciting: use technology as your friend. Your phone can be your best teacher. There are apps to practice speaking, games to improve vocabulary, and videos to help with pronunciation. But don't stop there. Set your phone's language to English. Follow English-speaking influencers, and make your social media a learning tool. Now, let's talk about one of the most fun ways to improve watching movies and TV shows. Pick something you love, something that makes you laugh or feel inspired. Start with subtitles in your language, then switch to English subtitles, and finally, try watching without any subtitles. You'll be amazed at how quickly you pick up new words and phrases. And music. Oh, music is magical. Find songs you love, sing along, and feel the words. Music helps you remember phrases naturally because it's full of rhythm and emotion. Plus, it's a great way to have fun while learning. Let me give you a golden tip: celebrate your progress. Every small step you take matters. Did you learn a new word? Celebrate. Did you speak a sentence without stopping? Celebrate. Did you understand a part of a movie in English? Celebrate. These moments are proof that you're growing, and growth deserves to be celebrated. Finally, surround yourself with English as much as you can. If you can find someone to talk to, that's great. But even if you can't, immerse yourself in English. Imagine you're living in a world where everything speaks to you in English: your books, your music, your movies, even your thoughts. The more you surround yourself with the language, the more natural it will feel. And now, as we near the end of this part, I want to leave you with this thought: every word you learn, every sentence you speak, is a gift to yourself. It's a key to a bigger, brighter world. And you deserve that.